Also available from African Adventure Videos is Safaris on the Kalahari in Zambia, Adventures through the Kalahari, Kafui Flats, the Luangwa Valley, and the Bangwelu Swamp. The Savuti in southern Africa, a wilderness area with a chameleon-like beauty. A beauty that's colorful, sometimes delicate, other times powerful, always breathtaking. So too is the Savuti an area of abundant game, trophy animals that attract some of the world's most avid hunters. Every hunt in this tape took place within a game management area controlled by the government of Botswana. Every animal taken was properly licensed by the government's wildlife department, and every animal was of trophy size. Hunts begin with a trip, a journey that often begins on the Chobe River. In a sense, a journey of acquaintance that unfolds against lush, fertile backgrounds and winds up deep within the Savuti wilderness. The Chobe weaves peacefully along, and upstream joins with the Linyanti River. In turn, the Linyanti joins with the Savuti Channel. In years of high rains, the channel travels as far as 20 kilometers, emptying into the Savuti Marsh and the Chobe National Park. Other than the Linyanti, the channel is the only standing water in the Savuti region for most of the year. It attracts animals of all shapes and sizes, and it is those animals that bring hunters to the Savuti. Before any hunting takes place, hunters take special care to sight their rifles, making sure that each weapon shoots accurately. Every rifle feels different, and it's important that pulling the trigger becomes almost second nature. The time spent sighting rifles in camp always pays dividends out on the hunt. Bob Hoover, an Arizona businessman, found out just how big those dividends can be. Early on during his fourth safari to Africa, he found himself face to face with a challenge he'd waited years for. Hoover had come during the early part of the hunting season, and one of the trophies he most wanted to take home was a Cape buffalo. The hunt began late in the afternoon, a time when buffalo are notoriously aggressive. Bob and his professional hunter Jeff Rann followed the herd along the Savuti Channel. Unlike most professional hunters, Jeff's an American citizen. He spent the better part of his childhood in Zambia and has been hunting professionally throughout Africa for over 12 years. As the herd moved into a clearing, Bob and Jeff stalked into the wind. They positioned themselves behind a tree and scanned the herd for a trophy bull. Neither Jeff nor Bob could spot an animal worth taking. And as the herd moved again, they took up the stalk once more. Hoover's challenge was only seconds away. Earlier, lions had been in the area. The buffalo wouldn't be happy with two more intruders. They heard the animal before they saw it.
Did you get that on film?
Yeah. Well, we got up on them, and there was about 4 or 5 bulls at the back of the herd. We got in very close to have a good look, and the wind changed on us. This bull got our wind and just came straight for us at about 12 yards. Bob hit him with the first shot. I followed up, and then Bob put in the second shot that actually knocked him down, and that was it. It all within 10 or 12, 15 yards. We don't know. The bull looks like he may be in sort of poor condition. That may have led to why he charged us. But we were in close, and you can't take chances at that distance.
It's the first time I've ever had a buffalo charge me. I've always wanted one. And we don't know why he charged, but we got one shot off. Hit him hard. Jeff shot it, hit him, and he turned, and I put the third shot in, and down he went dead. A little exciting when you have him charged, don't you think?
Hoover had met the challenge of an unprovoked charge, and back at camp relived the hunt with a laugh or two tagged on.
I've decided it's the perfume that Rann and I wear that creates these animals to charge us.
You figure they're chasing the perfume?
We went through a herd of elephants.
Bob would tell the story many times before the night was through. He'd experienced a moment that many hunters only dream about. But camp is more than a place for storytelling. It's a place where hunters enjoy comforts not many would expect to find so far out in the bush country. Services that make the time between hunts both memorable and relaxing. While washing away the day's dust, Bob describes his accommodations.
Of course, here's my basin with hot and cold running water that the porter brings us each time we come back into camp. Here's our light for the night. Of course, it draws a lot of bugs, so we have to watch where we set it. But seriously, back here's our 2-man tent. We have nice, comfortable beds, and it's completely enclosed, so the bugs can't get in. With screening, has windows, 2 nice bunk beds, and a cabinet for your shirts, your clothing, etc. Of course, what's nice about here on safari, each day they take your clothing, wash it, bring it back nice and ironed with creases in, just like home. So it is quite comfortable here in camp, even though it looks a little rustic.
Camp life may be rustic, but that doesn't mean that it's not without its own simple charms.
This is the skinning shed where they have to lock up the hides at night, and when I say lock it up, I mean to keep the door closed, to keep the hyenas from coming in, or even a stray leopard or lion, or even right from the swamp a crocodile would smell the hides and want to come up and eat, so they lock them up at night. This is the Sitatunga, but just to show you all the salt that's on the skull to help dry it up and pull the moisture out. This is to preserve it. The trophies have to stay here in Botswana for X amount of days, I'm not sure how many, under quarantine, and then if I understand it correctly, they're dipped in some type of a solution before they can be sent back to the States, to our taxidermists.
Trophy care is an important element of camp life. Skins, like this lion hide, are carefully salted and preserved for their trip to the stateside taxidermist. The time spent patiently working in and around the trophy shed translates into vivid memories years into the future. Relaxing around the campfire is the perfect end to a day of hunting. And that relaxation is important, because every morning brings with it the excitement of a new hunt. The first few hours of African sunlight have their own special sounds. Hunters discuss the animals they're about to go after, and how far they'll likely have to travel to find them. The camp staff prepares and loads the vehicles for the upcoming trip, and lunches and drinks are packed. The hunter on this day is Felsen Bowman. Bowman and his son Fred are on their third safari in Africa. Finally, it's time to start. The trophy that the Bowmans are after on this particular morning is blue wildebeest, an animal that's found throughout the Savuti region. Bowman, who's in Africa for a mid-season hunt, started hunting as a teenager in Texas. Each time he's come to Africa, he's hunted a different country, and each time he's hunted with Jeff Rann as his professional hunter. By now, they're well acquainted with each other's methods and capabilities. Wildebeests are tough animals and often require more than one shot to put down. Jeff and Felsen selected a trophy-sized bull hanging at the back of this herd. After spotting the herd from the truck, they walked up on it from behind. Bowman steadied his rifle on some tree branches. Unfortunately, the wildebeest ran away before Bowman could get off a good shot. So as the bull moved away, they moved with it. They stalked up from another angle, and this time they got the opening they were after. Bowman's shot is a perfect example of how a well-placed shoulder shot can drop an animal in its tracks. As the herd scattered, Jeff and Felsen walked up on Bowman's trophy. While these animals are common, bringing down an exceptional bull with one shot is something in which Bowman can take great pride.
Wildebeest usually give you a lot of trouble. They're a tough animal, hardy, and if you don't hit them just right, they're going to run a long ways.
While wildebeests can be hunted on open plains, kudu bulls, especially those of trophy size, are extremely elusive. Big kudus are difficult to take. They hear and see extremely well, and they're very cautious. But they're prized animals, and that made the kudu hunts of Jack Applin and Felsen Bowman that much more rewarding. For Jack Applin, the kudu was one of the big reasons behind his late-season trip to the Savuti. He was determined to make the most of his opportunity. Applin's an excellent marksman and an avid collector of fine rifles and shotguns. At the outset of the hunt, the trackers spotted the kudus about 300 yards from the truck. Applin hurried into position, but the shot just wasn't there.
Too far.
Yeah. All right, Wishlomote.
We'll get them, Jeff. They're still over there.
The kudu forced Applin to continue the hunt. Felsen Bowman's kudu, on the other hand, was not quite as elusive. Bowman came on 4 kudus feeding on some acacia trees. For the hunters to stalk up this close to the animals, conditions had to be absolutely perfect. The wind was out of the right direction. The hunters were effectively camouflaged, and the kudus were intent on their acacias. Everything fell right into place. Watch the bull at the far left of the screen. The kudu jumped straight up into the air, clear evidence that Bowman hit him with a well-placed shoulder shot. They followed the blood spoor for about 30 or 40 yards. The kudu had been hit too well to travel very far. It became clear that one shot had been quite enough.
Well, it's another fine shot, Felsen. Two in a row.
Thank you. That 250 grain nozzler did a job. It went right through, went into one shoulder and came right out the other side, and the exit wound looked like the bullet hadn't even started to open up yet, but it dropped him down, so it's a good bullet.
Yeah, you probably went 30, 40 yards.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, we were going along and saw the 4 kudu bulls and started stalking them, and they spooked a little bit, and then we run up and you finally spotted the better one of the 4, and just as he started to move off, you put me up, pointed him out to him, and I got a quick shot off at him, and I was lucky that time. It hit him.
That was a good shot. You got a nice kudu.
A nice kudu indeed for Felsen Bowman. Aplin's hunt continued into the afternoon, the kudus living up to their reputation of being hard to find. Suddenly, Jeff spotted a kudu. As the animal tried to run away, Aplin got off another shot. And that proved to be enough.
I got one left in there. Yeah, he's got several in it.
Jeff measured to see just how big a trophy Aplin had shot.
Huh?
That's the short horn.
Huh?
That's the short horn. We'll measure the long one now.
About 50. Exactly.
Although Aplin's hunt unfolded quite differently than Bowman's, both men took home trophy kudu, antelope prized by every African hunter. Hunting in the Savuti is more than just stalking animals. It's traveling through a landscape whose sights and sounds forever live in one's memory. Elephants are among the animals that cannot be hunted in the Savuti. But quite soon, as the elephant population continues to grow, the game department will probably put them back on license. Large herds roam the Savuti region, and without a culling of those herds, elephants will irreversibly destroy the very vegetation upon which they feed. Every morning, travelers on the Savuti must clear the roads of damage elephants have wreaked the night before. One animal that's not in any danger of going off license is the warthog. They're found quite commonly throughout the Savuti. In this next hunt, Jack Aplin's son Tom goes after his trophy warthog. Tom and his professional hunter Pete Hepburn spotted the animal near the end of the channel. Hepburn's a seasoned hunter with years of experience in the Savuti. Much of what he knows he learned from his father, who at one time was the chief game warden in the Chobe National Park. Tom Aplin, an attorney from Northern California, is out on his second safari. Along the way, they encountered one of the many lion prides on the Savuti. They slipped cautiously by, quickly picking up the warthog's tracks. Aplin waited for the warthog to come open. And then from about 50 yards, he had his chance.
Yeah, that's him. Killed him. Yeah. Huh?
Tom's shot was excellent. A dead center shoulder shot that pierced the warthog's lungs.
Yeah. It's a good one, huh?
Yeah.
Come on.
Huh?
I think this is probably a better trophy than my other one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's all right.
Gives it character.
Yeah.
That's a nice pig.
You got both his bottom teeth, the other one.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. That's what does the damage.
Is it?
I feel that.
Razor
Yeah, razor sharp.
Good, well done. Nice shot.
Tom had a sizable warthog with a fine set of tusks. Of course, not every animal hunted in Africa is hunted by man. Animals prey on other animals. It's the way of life in the Savuti. Hunting is a sequence of events: searching, tracking, spotting, surprising, selecting, with predators feeding on other animals they've either outwitted or overpowered. Man follows this same sequence, especially when hunting the most prized of all dangerous game animals, the lion. Hunting big cats during the day, often getting within a few feet of the pride before deciding whether or not to take a trophy, is one of the most challenging hunts in southern Africa. Early one mid-season morning, Jeff and Felsen picked up a pride's track at a zebra kill. The zebra hadn't been dead long. The lions had left enough for the ever-present vultures, and the birds were devouring what the lions hadn't. Several yards from the carcass, trackers spotted evidence of a big male. Jeff carefully stayed with the big tracks. The stalk was anything but straight ahead. The tracks circled around, came back in on themselves, and then headed off along the channel. At one point, it was clear the pride had stopped briefly to shade themselves from the morning sun, but they'd moved on, so the hunters did the same. The tracks remained clear and continued along the channel. Further along the stalk, Jeff spotted something at the base of a tree. He picks up the story.
We came on to a baboon that had been killed by the pride. I checked the carcass carefully to see if the big male had a part in either the killing or the feeding. What I was looking for was any mane hair on the exposed meat. But there really wasn't anything to indicate the big male had fed on the baboon. One of the younger lions was probably responsible. We continued on until we saw a lion stand up in the shade, about 200 yards in front of us. We had spooked some Impala, and they'd run into the pride. That woke the rest of the lions and confused them. From where we stood, Felsen really couldn't get off a clean shot. The lions were too far away and behind too much cover. The lions moved forward and into the wind and closer to us. We saw the big male again. It came open for a second, but Felsen elected not to shoot. He based the decision on the high risk of only wounding the lion and us having to go into the thick cover after a wounded, dangerous cat.
Disturbed and fully aware of the hunters, the lions now had the advantage. Mindful of that, Jeff and Felsen followed the pride along the channel, right up to the point where the lions crossed the open Savuti. On this day, anyway, the lions had won. Although Bowman had the opportunity to shoot, he was discriminate enough not to put his trackers and professional hunter into a dangerous situation. Sometimes, the best decision is to wait for another day, and that's just what Jeff and Felsen did. Later that same week, they checked an elephant carcass for evidence of a trophy lion.
But as you can see, there's not much left of this elephant. We found it 3 days ago.
When we first saw the elephant, there was a pride of lions nearby. The one male we did see didn't have enough mane to make him worth tracking. When the lions caught sight of us, they moved off into the bush. That gave Felsen and myself the opportunity to check over the carcass. The elephant was a relatively small one. On that first day, I didn't find anything to indicate there was a big male lion in the pride. No mane hair, and no big tracks. The next day, we checked the carcass again. While many lion and some hyena had fed on the carcass, I still couldn't find anything to point to the fact that a big male was in the area. Not finding anything that second morning, we decided to come back one more time.
They fed on it for the last 3 days, and along with the vultures and the hyenas when they could. And this is what's left. There's a bit of skin there, the pelvis bone, the skull and the tusk, a couple of shoulder blades. They don't leave much in Africa.
Hyenas and vultures had obliterated any evidence that would help the trackers. But on the edge of a water hole, they were able to find tracks that started them on a hunt. A short distance away, Jeff discovered the remains of a zebra, one that had been killed and eaten by the pride during the night. Sensing the lions were close, they stalked cautiously. Jeff noticed some movement in a clump of bushes up ahead. The pride had gone to sleep underneath some branches. It still wasn't clear whether a big male was among them. Jeff and Felsen decided to move in for a closer look. Within an area of about 20 square yards, there were 8 or 9 sleeping lions. One of the lions suddenly caught wind of the hunters and quickly bolted away. The others followed suit. While they'd found the pride, they still hadn't seen the big males that had left their tracks back at the water hole. A little frustrated, they carried on the hunt. Jeff had spotted tracks that indicated the males had wandered off sometime earlier in the day. Within a short distance, they found what they were after. 2 big males were resting on an anthill. Jeff called like a lion so that the 2 animals would wake up and show their heads. They were big males, all right, but big males with no manes. As Felsen would later say, it was a 3.5-hour walk to find 2 nice lions with short haircuts. In the end, Felsen and Jeff had to be satisfied with the pleasures of the hunt, which in the minds of some is what lion hunting on the Savuti is really all about. But every lion hunt is different, as Bob Hoover discovered early one morning. His opportunity came suddenly.
Okay, shoot him again. Shoot him again. Okay, he's down, he's down. He's down. Good.
Jeff had quickly determined that the lion was a good trophy. And even though Hoover's first shot went through the lion's spine and out the opposite shoulder, he put in a second shot. That's standard practice on dangerous game animals. Despite those two good shots, Jeff and Bob walked up carefully.
Good.
Good. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Okay, good job.
Thank you. Oh man, nice.
Get that. There's that bullet there. Come up right on the skin.
Look at that. Boy, he didn't even move. That's why first shot I didn't know he didn't move.
Now you hit him well the first shot, right through the spine. Actually severed his spine. He tried to get up, but he couldn't even pick his head up.
And look at part of the spine. Yeah, he's got nice. Now you get nervous.
Yeah. He's been fighting with that other male.
And you don't feel the body's as big either, you mean? Or
body size not pretty similar, yeah. But main size.
Thanks again, Jeff.
It was a good hunt.
Yeah, we're doing great with cats.
Thanks to his excellent marksmanship, Bob Hoover had his trophy lion. Hunters, whether they've experienced a relatively short hunt or have used the better part of a day to take an animal, all enjoy returning to camp and unwinding around the night fire. A toast ends a perfect day. Mornings on the river bring with them a magic all their own. A delicate mist over the water, a warm fire, hot coffee, good friends. And these things combine to set the stage for a day of hunting on the vast Linyanti swamp. The swamp extends for miles and miles, nearly as far as the eye can see. It's thick with reeds and papyrus, and every so often, a tree or two dots the horizon. At first glance, the swamp appears to be a gameless area, but quite the opposite is actually true. The wetlands of the Linyanti play host to a variety of animals both large and small. The swamp is home to the red lechwe, the elephant, the hippo, and the Sitatunga. The Sitatunga's elusiveness dictates the manner in which they're hunted. On a specially designed rig, Bob Hoover and Jeff drift slowly down the Linyanti, hoping to surprise a Sitatunga feeding along the river's edge. The Sitatunga is among the most elusive animals in southern Africa. It's the only truly aquatic antelope in the region. When frightened, they'll submerge themselves, holding only the tip of their nose out of the water. Bob, Jeff, and the trackers drifted for miles down the Linyanti, scanning the reeds for even the slightest bit of movement. After an hour or so, Bob spotted just what he was looking for.
Okay, take him. He's a good one.
Got him!
Good shot. He's down. He's down. But get ready. Right. Hurry.
Man, was he
Hurry.
hard.
Hurry.
You know, I saw what I thought was one, and I couldn't see anymore.
Stop.
We finally got one.
Hurry. Stop. Go inside here.
Down, right?
Down. Okay, go straight in. Straight. Huh? Straight.
Nothing about the hunt is easy. Once the animal is down, the trackers have to wade through the swamp's thick reeds to bring the trophy back to the rig.
Now we can go back to camp. Here it is, 10:30.
We were down the river the other day, and we came down in the afternoon. We decided to go ahead and try and do a morning hunt. Often you'll catch him out this time of day. It's about 10 o'clock now. We drifted downstream from camp about 2 hours, and caught him out, 2 bulls out in the open, as open as you can get for Sitatunga hunting, feeding on the papyrus. And as we drifted by, Bob actually saw him. We determined he was a good ram, and went ahead and took him.
Got him!
Good shot. He's down. He's down.
I'm tickled pink. Finally got a Sitatunga, because last year I had a long shot about 300 yards and missed it. And this is quite a challenge to see, let alone to kill. So
Sitatunga is probably one of the most difficult animals we've got. The hunt can be very time-consuming, physically tiring, and often long, difficult shots. We were pretty lucky today.
Yeah, this is about a 20-yard shot. Just opposite of last year. So again, Jeff, thank you very much. We're really getting our trophy room filled up.
While the Sitatunga is a trophy not every hunter is fortunate enough to bag, the Impala is normally a trophy nearly every hunter takes home. Tom Aplin's Impala hunt began from atop a huge termite mound along the Savuti Channel. Such mounds are composed of the dirt termites bring up from the ground below and are common along the Savuti. In some cases, they can be as high as 15 to 20 feet, and quite often they'll provide hunters with a vantage point from which they can scout game animals. Pete Hepburn spotted an Impala herd about 200 yards away and he and Tom started off through the bush. They came up on the back of the herd. Pete picked out the ram, then set up the sticks. The ram came into full view. And Tom Applin had his trophy Impala. One of the most prized trophies in southern Africa is the Sable. Its impressive horns make it a sought-after animal. Jeff and Felsen spotted a magnificent bull late one morning and followed it back into a treed area off the channel. The trees made it difficult for Felsen to get off a good shot, so the two men stalked up closer. From about 200 yards, Felsen made the most of his first chance.
Well, Felsen, you got yourself a very nice Sable here. Why don't you tell us the story?
Well, we saw the animal, or you saw the animal, when we were driving down the road, and the first one had a crooked horn. Then this one stepped up, and when I got out of the truck, banged the truck, and they run off. And then we started tracking through the woods, and finally came up and saw him off in the distance. And after you pointed him out, we were able to bring him down.
That was a good one-shot kill, and you put him down, and it was about 200-yard shot, I think. And that 338 did a hell of a job.
I was a little surprised that he went down.
He's a tremendous Sable. He's got good length. He'll go into both Safari Club as well as Rolling Ward. But what really makes him exceptional is those bases. He's got 11.5-inch bases, which is going to score very well.
Most animals on the Savuti instinctively avoid hunters, but buffalo, especially a wounded one, would just as soon run over a hunter as run away. A week before the hunt you're about to see took place, Felsen Bowman said as much during a conversation over breakfast with his son Fred and his friend Ed Borger.
The leopard or the lions, when they come through heavy brush, have to dodge the trees. That big old buffalo don't dodge shit. He just runs right over top of it.
Runs his head straight up in the air, like that.
So a brain shot has to come right through the tip of the nose.
Bowman had no idea how prophetic his words were until he got out on the hunt. He and Jeff began the stalk in the late afternoon, a good time to get close for a good shot. But the last few hours of sunlight are also a time when buffalo become more aggressive. The stalk led them through some thick brush. And then, 100 or so yards in front of them, they spotted the herd. The buffalo sensed the hunters and moved quickly away. Jeff and Felsen continued on, slowly and quietly. Through some brush, Jeff spotted a big bull hanging at the back of the herd, and that's when it began. They moved quickly forward to put in a kill shot.
Four paces to the tip of his nose.
From where I was ejecting my shells, it's 4 paces to the tip of his nose.
That's close. Well, Felsen, that's about as exciting as you can get on a buffalo hunt.
I'd say it is that.
You gave him a good shot that first shot, knocked him down, but as you can see, they get up.
He's got 6 shots in.
6 shots. And what, 3 of those, is it 3 of those 6 are in his head?
Yeah. Well, I hit him in the shoulder the first time,
shot,
and he went down, and when he first started his charge, I hit him right, what appeared to be right down through the middle of his spine. And then you shot him, and he went down. I shot him once in the head, but I didn't hit the brain, and you went through the tip of his nose one time.
I think that probably went up into the spine now as well, as he dropped his head. And then you gave him one to finish him off. But that's what it's all about.
But that shot you put in the tip of his nose, that's what you say is the...
Yeah, when he's coming at you, you see him. When he's coming with that head up, you hit him right here on the end of the nose.
Well, if you look, there's a bullet hole right there.
Bowman's hunt provided one of those rare moments that makes his safari an unforgettable experience. And Bob Hoover had his own special moment, as did every hunter who hunted along the Savuti Channel. Safari on the Savuti, a journey every hunter should experience at least once in his lifetime.